for your answers. Now, we will take questions from the floor, but in order to maintain a respectful and efficient process, I would like to invite you to respect a few rules. First of all, I'd like you to be concise with your question. If your question is, if you have a preamble to your question, I would like to ask you to either leave the preamble out or turn the preamble into a question, because otherwise it's going to be too long, and we want to, there's quite a people in this room, and we want to give a chance to everyone to ask their questions. So basically, if you do have a comment and not a question, I'm asking you to leave it for the end, and actually you can meet with those candidates. I mean, there's coffee after when we're done at 8:30. You can just stay around and chat over coffee and present your comments at that point. If you can also write them down and pass them to they have their hands up in the back there, if you can see them, okay? And also, if you're not comfortable asking a question, but you want a question to be asked, you can just write it on a piece of paper and again hand it to these two people. If your question sounds too long, I will cut you off. And finally, the candidates, you have 1 minute to answer each question that's being asked. Okay? So, anybody who has a question, you can come to the microphone.
Okay, no problem with the light here. I'm Clara Murphy, Clara Rutherford, President of the Yukon Council of Archives. Okay, Murphy is my name from way past. Gotta find a light here that I can read. Larry would be familiar with this and you might not, so I'm only going to ask the question. Don't expect an answer. I will give you my handout so you'll have it. Would you as a candidate be willing to support a renewed and hopefully significant larger national archival development program, funding program, after the current program ends in 2010-2011? And this is referring to funding that the Yukon receives from the Libraries and Archives Canada through the Canadian Heritage Department, and it's a match fund that we distribute to museums and First Nations that meet the criteria of an archival institution. It's a match funding so that they can increase it to look after their archival programs. In the 1980s, we received grants of up to $25,000. They've gone as low as $2,500, and lots of times we have to turn them away completely. So it's been cut. Okay. The second question is...
No, can you start with the first question?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind starting. I don't know the details of your program. I can only speak as someone who wants to represent the Yukon because I don't believe that specific thing is in our national party platform. Yes, I will fight for that. On the same grounds that I've already spoken of. Once we open that door of cuts, you know, it may be travel grants now, and it may be festivals now, but it'll be museums tomorrow, and then it'll be Kitimavik after that, and then it'll be this, and it'll be that. Yes, obviously our museums are an integral part of our cultural heritage and must be protected, as are the archaeological, the archaeological work that's being done around the Yukon. So, to the extent to which I understand the question, my answer is yes.
Yeah, the Green Party does have a policy which speaks to this. We have a policy that says that we intend to adequately fund our museums to protect our cultural heritage from decay and neglect. So we speak to it directly, so again, yes. And also we have a policy in place specifically around Aboriginal issues where we are identifying funding that should be used to support not only the culture and traditional culture and art of First Nations, but also the history of First Nations, which again would capture some funding needed for archival material.
Well, absolutely, I support that. As you know, I've been a big supporter of the archives, and at the Canadian Museum of Civilization with some Aboriginal Yukon elders and some of our beautiful material we have there. The important, one of the important points is that is to bring artifacts back to where the local people are as much as possible, either to the Yukon or to the various museums. But to do that, of course, these are priceless legacies of our heritage, and they must be under the specific type of care and containment and special technical qualifications, as you know, and equipment, so that they won't be destroyed or they're not allowed to come back. And of course, it's in all our best interest to allow these to come back. So we need to invest that money in the technology so that they can come back. And of course, I'm personally very supportive of that.
I'm certainly aware of the work that you've been doing, and that goes back to the days when I sat on the executive at the McBride Museum back in the 90s. Archiving information is certainly critical to maintaining that heritage and that history record of who we are, and I think it's an important piece of what we need to do. And what I can say as well is that what I can be is a strong advocate for such things. And really, it's the responsibility of the Member of Parliament to bring those issues and concerns back to Ottawa. And what I can do is say that I can bring that stuff and bring it to the table where they actually make the decisions and where you have the ear of the government.